Hi, I'm professional sports handicapper Ross Benjamin. It's Wednesday, October 9th, and it's time for another edition of my college football free pick segment. Before we get to those free picks, last week in college football on this YouTube channel, we went 2-1 with outright underdog winners on Navy and Florida, and we lost our only game on Army against Tulane. In any event, folks, last 35 free pick videos on this YouTube channel, 56 and 38, that's 60%. For those naysayers out there who say my claims are false, I'm just like every other guy. I challenge you to go back and look at the archives of each and every video on this channel, which are available to you, the public. Go through the results, and if you find anything different, be sure to text me back or message me back, and I'm certain that I could clarify any discrepancy that you may have at that time. Keep in mind, all my games that I release, I grade myself on the line I use on the video. That's the current line at the time of the recording. It has worked against me and has worked for me both ways. So everything being equal, I'm as fair as possible when it comes to grading. And again, it's amazing how I continue to be consistent, which is the key. Yet people still doubt me with their comments on these videos. They can't wait to fade me. They can't. I've been called grandpa. Yeah, I'm 62 years old. I'm not a young man. I don't have any gray hair. It's all natural. And you know what? I got a lot of experience. And sometimes you can't put a price tag on experience. I'm not going to win every video. I'm not going to win every week. But again, what I claim is right here for you to go back and check upon. And that's the way it goes. I had another brilliant comment from one of the viewers last week who went on to say that everybody was a sucker because you can't win money at 60%. Obviously, that gentleman doesn't have a degree in math at any level of schooling. So 60% is pretty darn good, folks. Matter of fact, 55% is pretty darn good in this business. But we're on a nice roll. Let's get right to the meat and potatoes, the three games we're going to have at hand. Let's start with the game between number 6 Oklahoma and Texas at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. It's an annual rivalry game. Oklahoma is currently a 10.5-point favorite. The Sooners are 5-0 so far. They've scored 45 points or more in each of their first 5 games. They're averaging 53.4 points and 643.4 yards per game and a whopping 10 yards per offensive play. That's astronomical numbers offensively. And you know what? If Jalen Hurts isn't a front runner right now, somebody needs their head examined to win the Heisman Trophy, I should say. 1,523 yards passing, 14 touchdowns against 2 interceptions, 75.2% completion rate, and he's also run for 499 and 7 touchdowns as well. Do the math, folks. In 5 games, Hurts has accounted for over 2,000 yards of total offense and 21 combined touchdowns. Not too shabby. He's going to be going against a Texas defense that's giving up 441.8 yards per game. That's not very good. Despite Texas being 4-1 on the season, they've allowed 30 points or more on 3 separate occasions. And Texas only lost this year, as a matter of fact, came at the hands of nationally ranked LSU. That was 45-38 at home, and the LSU Tigers compiled 573 yards in that game. I look for more of the same here. The difference is Oklahoma's defense. Texas is good offensively, by the way. I really like Sam Ehlinger, but the difference will be is Oklahoma's defense is a bit better than Texas's defense, although they're not great. They have allowed 20 points or less in all 5 games this season. I'm going with the Oklahoma Sooners here, minus 10.5 over Texas. As a matter of fact, folks, buy that down to 10, 10.5, buy it down to 10. Again, those key numbers, 3, 7, and 10. Iowa State at West Virginia, 4 p.m. Eastern Time start. Iowa State currently a 10-point favorite. This is a Cyclones team that's 3-2 thus far, and they're coming off a 43-24 shellacking of TCU at home. The Iowa State Cyclones only two losses this year, 18-17, the number 17 Iowa, and 23-21 to number 22 Baylor. So their two losses came against two nationally ranked teams and came by a combined 3 points. This is a balanced offensive team from Iowa State, 33 runs and 35 passes per game. And I love quarterback Brock Purdy. This sophomore has been outstanding. He was good in his freshman season, even better this year. 1,578 yards passing, 70.8% completion rate, 10 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Also has ran for over 200 yards and 5 touchdowns as well. West Virginia is 3-2, but that record is a bit deceiving. They're coming off a 42-31 home loss to Texas in a game that, quite frankly, wasn't as close as the final score may indicate. They were -3 turnover differential in that game. Iowa State, folks, this is a top 25 caliber team that's unranked at the moment, and I don't know why they're not ranked. In West Virginia, not even close to a top 25 team. I'm taking Iowa State here on the road, -10 at West Virginia. The last game involves the Nebraska Cornhuskers traveling to Minnesota to take on the Gophers. 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time slated kickoff. Right now, the Minnesota Golden Gophers are a 7.5-point home favorite. Minnesota is 5-0, and they are unranked at 5-0, and they certainly have a chip on their shoulder in that regards. They broke a string of 4 straight wins to start the year by 7 points or fewer on each occasion, with a 40-17 dominant performance win at home last week against Illinois. This will be a revenge game also for the Minnesota Golden Gophers, as last year in Nebraska they lost that game 53-28. Nebraska is coming off a listless 13-10 win against a not very good Northwestern team last week. They failed to cover as an 8-point favorite, and they needed a game-winning field goal with no time left on the clock. Very important to note, Adrian Martinez, the star sophomore quarterback for Nebraska, injured his knee in the third quarter of that game and came out of the game and did not return. He's listed as questionable, so we don't know if Martinez is going to play, and if he does play, if he's going to be close to 100%. I'm going to take Minnesota here, -7.5, buy him down to 7. Again, the key number, folks, 3, 7, and 10. Buy off the hook when it comes to that. It's not a sign of weakness. It's smart sports wagering. So let's repeat them again. It's Oklahoma, -10.5, buy them down to 10 against Texas. It's Iowa State, -10 at West Virginia. It's the Minnesota Golden Gophers, -7.5, buy them down to 7 against Nebraska. Those are my 3 free picks for Saturday, October the 12th. Be sure to visit my website, rbwins.com, and I'm absolute roll with my paid selections in the Major League Baseball postseason. 5-2 this year, 61% since 2011. That's all documented by the good folks over at Sports Camping. That's rbwins.com, where you pay a little to make a lot. Until the next time, good luck with all your picks.